Good morning, everyone. Mhm. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend? When people can be so cold, they can hurt you and they'll desert you. They'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them know. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running just to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will, 'cause you've got a friend. Ain't it good to know? Ain't it good to know that you got a friend? Ain't it good to know that you got a friend? Yes, you got a friend.
Such warm lyrics. Heartwarming, right, Jason?
Absolutely.
Good
Thank you.
morning to you.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
Great. Doing well.
Good. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Hello from the
It's
studio.
so wonderful to have you join us today. And I know you've had a crazy busy week, so it's really good to feel your presence as you anchor into your studio this morning and take us on a musical journey.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's give a virtual round of applause to Jason Goldstein, who is our musical artist for the day. And he's got some really beautiful music planned for us. And so I look forward to sharing that with you. We'll see you in a bit, Jason.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And welcome to our Sunday morning service as we come together to anchor into the power and the presence of the thing itself. Another week has passed, and all kinds of chaos and craziness has unfolded in the world. And I'm sure you, much like I, throughout the week, have had moments of needing to take a deep breath and anchor myself into the power and the presence of the source of life itself. And so we come together this day on Sunday, January 29th in the year 2023 to open ourselves up for inspiration, for a remembrance of who we are as divine beings, and to feel community, to be with like-minded individuals who understand and remember that the light of the divine, that inextinguishable light that exists within each and every one of us, is always shining and doing its thing through us. And so I honor you as you come together today to be in the power and the presence of the divine by means of you and each one of us. And so we're headed on a journey today in our service, and I'd like to kick it off with some slides on the screen that are welcoming slides and a bit informative as well as to who we are as a community. And so let's look at that now. And so we are a community known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And so no matter what means you may be joining us today, we welcome you here, whether it's through Zoom, potentially Facebook. We've been having issues getting logged in on there this morning, or at a later date through our YouTube channel, or wherever you may find us. We want you to know that we honor the divine that's within you. On the screen, you'll see that there is the act of namaste, this beautiful vision of this lovely being of light leaning into the sign that says namaste. It's a Sanskrit term that means I bow to you. In its most modern day incarnation, it means that the power, the life, the source of all that is within me, also the term God, I honor and acknowledge and welcome and celebrate it as you. So to begin our service together, let's all take a deep breath in and exhale, placing our hands together in prayer position as we see on the screen. Closing your eyes if that feels comfortable. Leaning forward, saying out loud, Namaste. I bow to you. I honor you. I celebrate the divine in you that is within me. And so it is. We are a community that has come together for over 30 years, and in this coming together, we know that we have the ability to choose what the day is going to be like. No matter what's going on in our world, whether technology is working against us or we're choosing to let it be our friend, whether it's showing up the way we want to or not, and get to celebrate and say, no matter what's going on in the world today, ooh, it's a happy day. Oh, happy day. I'm choosing to be the essence and the power of love. In this new thought teaching that we practice, love is defined as the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire is to create more of itself out of itself, and the only way it can do that is through you and through me. And so we come together today to welcome and celebrate all races, all religions, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities, for we stand with you, heart to heart, soul to soul, metaphorically standing with you here, but literally standing nonetheless, honoring you as you are. One of my favorite quotes that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote was, "Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you." And so today, as we honor all expressions of life itself, let's affirm together that we welcome one and we welcome all. And let's feel that presence of not only welcoming in all expressions of life, but the feeling of being welcomed in. We know what that feeling is like when our heart comes alive from the feelings of connection, of community, of oneness. As a teaching, as a community, we celebrate the teaching of Dr. Ernest Holmes primarily, along with many other metaphysical mentors, I guess I'll call them at the moment, all with the core essence that there's one activity taking place in life. It is life itself. It's the divine doing its thing through us, that we are all one and interconnected through the mind of the divine. In the 1926 original text by Dr. Ernest Holmes, he calls that the mind of God, and that you and I individualize that mind, meaning that we have unique qualities of ourselves as humans, but we're all the same at that level of the divine, whereby the qualities of the divine exist within us. They are peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And as we practice those and practice paying attention to our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and interactions with life itself, the very thing itself, life, responds, as you'll hear throughout the day, by corresponding to this state of awareness that we have, this state of believing who we know ourselves to be, by this state of moving through our spiritual awakenings, and in so doing, finding personal self-empowerment. Once again, our vision statement is supporting individuals finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And we come together on Sundays and every other time that we gather to celebrate that within each and every individual, as well as to celebrate it within ourselves. And so we move into a ritual at this point called calling into the light. But I need to get my screen back. Sorry. And so let's all just take a deep breath in together. And as we move into this morning ritual, centering ourselves, we begin by calling in the light of the divine. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. The purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering this morning a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities that we possess as complete expressions of the divine. This morning I would like for us to light this metaphorical candle and feel the vibrations shift during this experience, and invite each and every one of us to become ever more aware of the light of life that exists in us and as all expressions of life, which includes you and includes me. As we light this metaphoric candle, let's do so for the qualities of the divine that exist within each and every one of us and all expressions of life. And I invite us all to include Tyree Nichols and his family and all on this planet who are processing the devastating things that we've witnessed that happened to Tyree Nichols. And let's remember that these qualities of the divine do exist, no matter our circumstances or conditions. And let's hear them anew today. The first is peace. Dr. Holmes defines this as our inherent divine state of inner calm. And this exists within us regardless of what's unfolding around or within us. The second is power. It's the power that we acknowledge, which is the energy by which everything lives. The third is beauty. Beauty is a personal expression in which high spiritual qualities are made manifest, as well as we light it for the quality of light. In our philosophy, faith, and way of life, light is known as a symbol of universal intelligence. The sixth quality is for life, defined as that animated principle of being, that inner something that makes everything live. The next is love. As earlier I addressed it as the self-givingness of spirit through the desire of life to express itself. And as we move into the final candle lighting, we look at it as the healing candle. And I ask that we each take a moment and not only bring into our mind's eye, as we did earlier, Tyree Nichols and all that are experiencing and processing this devastation, but let's bring ourselves into this healing flame so that we may all experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. Jason's going to come on the screen and take us through a song today that's different than we've sung before, but I invite you to hear it so that it will help us through this healing. Jason?
Lost and weary traveler, searching for the way to go. Stranger and heavy-hearted, longing for someone you know. May you find a light. May you find a light. May you find a light to guide you home. There are weary travelers searching everywhere you go. Strangers who are longing to be deeply known. May you find a light. May you find a light. May you find a light to guide you home. May you find a light. May you find a light. May you find a light to guide you home.
And so I affirm for each of us together today that we indeed find this light. It's present within us. We allow it to guide us, and we honor and acknowledge it within each and every sentient being on this planet. And we let it be. And so it is. Such a beautiful song, Jason. Thank you for sharing that with us today. You brought it to us this morning in rehearsal, so thank you for that.
Of course. My pleasure.
Yeah. So once again, it's so great to have you back with us. You're just a cherished and treasured musician and person and being, and it's always so wonderful for you to not only share your talent with us and your gift, but your vision. And so I know you have a vision for the music that you're sharing today. What's the next song you're singing?
This is a John Lennon and Paul McCartney song. This one means a lot to my mom. She sang it to me growing up, and it's called "In My Life."
Wonderful. Take it away.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remains. All these places had their moments with lovers and friends I can still recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there's no one who compares to you. And though memories lose their meaning, when I think of love, I think of something new. Though I never know I'll lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I've loved them more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
Wow. So beautiful. And I'm sure we can all relate to the multiple times in our life we've heard that song, and how the lyrics have different meaning each time, and those meanings layer upon themselves. So um, it's a deeply connecting song, and it's also very personal to each one of us. So thank you for that. So beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It certainly resonates with my soul. So we'll see you in a bit, Jason. Thank you for being here once again.
Thank you. Thank you again.
And so I know that for each and every one of us, we feel that connection to love itself, possibly to our mothers, as this song has great meaning for Jason with his mother, and just in general, the feeling of the way that we have the ability to cherish love and life. I was so torn this morning about as to whether or not to focus on the events that took place in Tennessee with Tyree Nichols, because it seems like each and every Sunday there's more unfolding, and we have such things to focus on. And so I'm going to share my message this morning. I invite us all to stay connected to the ability of how we have power in our life to make a difference. I want to talk about vision and execution in regards to using the science of mind. And I want to begin with a quote that I love, that if you've been a student of mine over the years, you've heard versions of this. And the quote is, "Vision without execution is just hallucination." Now, people attribute this quote to everyone from Edison to Einstein. Someone actually traced it back to a Japanese proverb. And the Japanese proverb says, "Vision without action is a daydream. Action without vision is a nightmare." Now, no matter who said it first, it makes a good point. We need a creative vision to make change in the world. But vision alone is not enough. We also need execution to make that change real. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the Teachings of the Science of Mind, uses this quote in this manner. He says, "Information without application is hallucination." So many of us have heard the first 4 chapters addressed on the first 4 Sundays of the year for many years, and I've prepared many of those messages, and today we're going to continue that, but I invite us to hear this information anew today. And what I mean by that is having the ability to take a new step, in regards to our lives individually and collectively as a being, as a planetary group, as interconnected aspects of the divine, fulfilling our destiny of being the power and the presence of the divine to the best of our ability with every thought, action, interaction, reaction with the thing itself. Leading up to today's message, we've addressed the first 3 chapters of the book. The first being the thing itself, the second, what it does, and the third is how it works, taking us to today's 4th chapter titled How to Use It. Just a reminder that this book was published in 1926, so some of the language that you'll hear me use and mannerisms in which he has addressed concepts are in the vernacular of 1926, and some of it has changed since today, or as of today. How to use it. He writes, one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we're likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. That which we cannot prove may or may not be true, but that which we can prove certainly must be and is the truth. He goes on to say, of course, the theory of any scientific principle goes beyond its application at any given stage of its accomplishments. If this were not true, there would be no progress in any science, including mental science, which is what we practice here. He goes on, the sciences are objectively real to us only insofar as we can demonstrate them. And until demonstrated, they are suppositional so far as practical results are concerned. He says if there's any field of research where the practical application is necessary, it's the metaphysical field. The reason being that the principle of metaphysics seems less tangible to the average person than does the principle of other sciences. I'm sure that's been true for each and every one of us at some point, that we found it very hard to believe that there was tangibility to these variety of laws that we talk about in this philosophy, faith, and way of life, and very intangible as to how the unmanifest can be made manifest. I'm going to address that today. Holmes goes on to write, as a matter of fact, all principles are intangible, but the world at large has not yet come to consider the principle of mental practice in the same light that it considers other given principles of life and action. Now, once again, this was 1926 when this was published and probably written several years earlier. That's changed in today's world. There have been study after study after study that indeed, through prayer, the conscious act of using our mind and surrendering to a higher power, no matter how you define that higher power, does indeed have an impact on life itself. It's been proven scientifically that our thoughts indeed can become form and have an impact on the energy field by which is our own physical being, as well as that which is beyond the border of our own physical humanity, if you will. It's been proven that we are connected, interconnected mentally, and the list goes on and on and on. To reframe, he talked about the laws and the principles, and so today I'd like to have to readdress those for us as a reminder for what they are and how we address them in this teaching. Deepak Chopra tells us this, that to begin to use the spiritual laws of the universe, let's first understand the concept of law. Law is the process by which the unmanifest becomes the manifest. It's the process by which the observer becomes the observed. It's the process by which the seen becomes the scenery. It's the process through which the dreamer manifests the dream. Take a moment and see yourself in any and all of this unfolding. That where the dreamer manifests the dream, where the unmanifest becomes the manifest. It goes on to write that all of creation, Everything that exists in the physical world is the result of the unmanifest transforming itself into the manifest. Hear that anew. All of creation, everything that exists in the physical world, everything that exists in the physical world is the result of the unmanifest transforming itself into the manifest. Our physical body, the physical universe, anything and everything that we can perceive through our senses is the transformation of the unmanifest, unknown, and invisible into the manifest, the known and the visible. Why does that matter? It matters because we are a participant in this creative process. Many would say we are a co-creator in this creative process of that which is invisible, unknown, and unmanifest taking form. How do we do that? We do that by tending to our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, our interactions with life itself, and by intentionally and purposefully not only just redefining that in our life, but fine-tuning it to reflect its innate nature of peace, power, beauty, joy, light, life, love, and wisdom. And then to begin to trust in a greater way, and then in a greater way, and then in a greater way that it responds to us. The great metaphysician Raymond Charles Barker writes that the principle of life is that life responds by corresponding. Your life becomes the thing you have decided it shall be, even if that decision is one of indecision. The principle of life. Well, what's a principle? In this context, a principle is a fundamental truth or a proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for a chain of reasoning. Do you have this deep-rooted fundamental truth or belief that life responds by corresponding, that your life becomes the thing that you've decided it to be? Let's let today be the day that we re-engage or engage that anew, as if for the first time, but with a depth of wisdom and faith and experience in life of the way life it works, the way that we use it, and how the thing itself exists. Holmes goes on to address in this chapter, and I love this part, he says that the newly awakened student of the science of mind who finds this teaching and believes they've found the truth runs through life or a party like a house on fire, shouting these principles and telling people who are suffering from human conditions that the conditions are false. Have you ever done that, or have I ever done that? It's important to remember that that's not true from the perspective of living the highest life. To effectively use the principles of this teaching, one must realize that every single individual is on their own journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, our vision statement. And as we navigate life itself, no matter what comes at us, it's important to make sure what's coming through us and what we have the opportunity to make the decision on is for what comes through us, in other words, that which we express, is steeped and founded in compassion, empathy, kindness, and an affirmation of truth and oneness, not only for ourselves, but for all beings. That is how healing happens. And remember, Holmes tells us that healing is the act of revealing the oneness of life, while understanding at a very fundamental level this basic approach I'm about to address now, which is how he addresses it, Holmes, when he says, because thought is made of the stuff that forms the universe into definite creation, the law is charged, when we address the law, making the unmanifest manifest. The law is charged with the power that we give it, meaning the more that we tune into our power in an effective way with compassion, empathy, kindness, and an affirmation of truth, it responds in like, as well as it responds in like should we not pay attention to it. He says this is no more, no less. It responds by correspondence. It's a mirror and a perfect one. It molds our ideas and beliefs into visible form and casts them back multiplied. It does not know that it's doing this, but it knows how to do it. This is one of the greatest enigmas of the universe. I invite us each, if we've been around for a while, to hearken back to the first time we heard this. And I'm sure light bulbs were going off in our mind. Today, I invite us to have those light bulbs go off again. New light bulbs. Because thought is made of the stuff that forms the universe into the definite creation, the law is charged with the power that we give it. No more, no less. It responds by correspondence. It's a mirror and a perfect one. It molds our ideas and beliefs into visible form and casts them back multiplied. It doesn't know that it's doing this, but it knows how to do it. This is one of the great enigmas of the universe. Well, what is the it? It is God, source, the infinite, the creator, the universe. I'd like for us to look at this concept of the universe that we so freely throw around all the time. I know I do. Eric Butterworth, in the book Spiritual Economics, The Prosperity Process, addresses the universe in this way. He says, when we use the word universe, we're not just referring to that vast cosmos of galaxies out there, for all that is simply the accumulation of an infinite number of other worlds. No. We're using the word in a more transcendent sense. The word universe, in its literal meaning, is the whole of things, the basic unity of all life. I invite you to feel the connection that we have to the unity of all life, to know that we are one with it, as well as the vast cosmos, but it's even transcendent of the vast cosmos. Well, what does that mean? If it's transcendent and beyond that and infinite, and we're one with it, imagine the potentiality and possibility that exists within us when we have the willingness, when we have the spiritual cojones, if you will, to expand our thinking and to turn inward and fine-tune our innate nature and the qualities that exist within us. What's possible? Deepak Chopra addresses this through the law of pure potentiality. He says the source of all creation is pure consciousness, pure potentiality seeking expression from unmanifest to the manifest. And when we realize that our true self is one of pure potentiality, we align with the power that manifests everything in the universe. This speaks so deeply to me because what it reminds me of, that there was a time in my life that I knew, that I know that we all did, and I still know it, but I need to remember it, is that all that I, we, us, life desires is already there. It's already pure potentiality waiting to be called into form. And so today, we each have the opportunity before us to realign with this potentiality, to begin to think anew as to what we desire to draw into the world, draw into manifestation. And to remember that the law exists and never changes, that the principle is already in action, and that we each have the opportunity for a greater awareness and understanding of the universe and pure potentiality at our disposal right now. That it never changes. But we have great opportunity to change our way of approaching it. And one of the great ways to do this is how we understand and intentionally reveal it. To begin to see life, as I've spoken of before, with a new lens of what's going on around us. Last night, as I was laying in bed, looking out the door into my living room, and this has been happening a good bit in my house, there's lights flashing. There was a light that was flashing on the television screen. It was light. and appear and disappear, appear and disappear. And I first thought it was car lights. I'm not really sure what it is, but what I kept being reminded of is what I'm about to share with you now, is the remembrance that there's more than what the human eye can see. From Science and Astronomy, there's a statement that says, "There is something around us!" exclamation point. And then it goes on to tell us that the human eye can only see between 430 and 770 THz. I think that's tegahertz, is what I'm going to call it. I'm sorry I didn't research that. Our ears can only detect sound between 20 Hz and 20 kHz. These ranges make up a fraction of the total sound and light frequency range. This means that there's a lot going on around us that we cannot see or hear. And I'm going to add to the trained eye and ear and awareness field at the moment. But what I know and that we all know based on life experiences, and we know because deep within us there's a trust and a faith that it's our innate nature to evolve, we can hear, feel, see more than what we previously felt, heard, or saw when we open up to it. And we do that by setting the intention of tuning in to the universe itself. Remember, that is beyond just the cosmos. And then detaching from the outcome. Chopra goes on to tell us that when we discover your essential nature and know who you really are, in that knowing itself is the ability to fulfill any dream you have, because you are the external possibility, the immeasurable potential of all that was, is, and will be. You're it, and I'm it. He goes on to write, the law of pure potentiality also could be called the law of unity, because underlying the infinite diversity of life is the unity of one all-pervasive spirit. There's no separation between you and I and this field of energy. This field of pure potentiality is your own self, uppercase S. And the more that you experience and express your true nature, the closer you are to the field of pure potentiality. So today I invite each and every one of us, as we tap into our true self in a new way, when we have the willingness to open to a new idea of what is possible in our life, when we let go of any attachments to the amount of days we've had on this earth and how many days may be beyond us, when we let go of the patterns of everyday life and open up to the possibilities of what we can dream into being, what we can draw from the unmanifest into the manifest, when we tap into a spiritual awakening of this nature, ultimately finding personal self-empowerment and enjoying the journey, we then get to remember and use the power itself. I'm going to share with you an article that's going to be published in the newsletter tomorrow that I just love, and it's one that I wrote a couple of years ago, but I think it's very important and appropriate for today. It's titled The Power. And I wrote, as I was working recently with the television on in the background, I heard a woman say, "We may not have power, but we always have the power." She was being interviewed in a shelter where she and her family are staying as a result of a recent natural disaster. I stopped in my tracks and picked up the TV remote control, hit rewind, and watched this interview from start to finish. This woman exuded warmth, conviction, awareness, and an obvious deep faith. To my amazement and that of the interviewer, these qualities are being expressed in the face of having lost so much. Her possessions, her family's possessions, her home were all gone. And in addition, the shelter where she was staying was currently without electricity. The thing that moved me most in observing her tell of her experience and bearing witness to her on the TV is that I have and had no idea of her orientation in relation to her politics, religions, or social issues. And the truth is, it didn't and doesn't matter. Why? It's because this woman was exuding the faith of God, as Ernest Holmes tells us to have, which we each desire to embody more and more and more of on a daily basis. This faith, it's a knowing at a cellular level that we're one with the power, the universe, the transcendent. And as such, we are already that which transcends all conditions in life. In essence, we are the power of God individualized. Now, we all know that, but it's great to be reminded of it. But it's even greater to hear it, to feel it, to see it, and then to act upon it. The article continues to say, as human spiritual beings, we're imbued with feelings. They are an aspect of mind, and as we become more aware of our spiritual nature, we feel our feelings and let them be a guide as to how we interact and approach life. Yet for a healing to be revealed, we must move beyond the feelings and know the truth through right thinking and oneness-oriented beliefs. In Science of Mind, Holmes addresses this in this way. He says, we not only believe, but we know that it is entirely possible through mental treatment, spiritual mind treatment, through right thought and belief to greatly influence our environment, its reaction to us, the situations we meet, and conditions we contact. Dr. Holmes is informing us that we are to stay clear on our ability to affect life by how we think and believe regarding the transcendent that we're imbued with and always present creative power of the divine. So today, let's you and I agree to engage in a new way of how to use it, to move back into a practice, should we have lost them, of spiritual mind treatment, of affirmations, of living in the realm of dreaming what could be possible for us individually, collectively, as a community, a species, and certainly as a country. I love this affirmation that Holmes wrote, which is here and now, and I invite you to say it with me. Here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. Let's do it again. Here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. He goes on to say, how much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? And the answer is, as much as we can embody. Today, I think it's important for us to remember, as well as to hear it as if it's the first time. There's only one God. We are one, and we are interconnected. That the universe responds to us by corresponding to us. Our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions, and our interactions with it. Always. And the law of divine oneness exists. Always. The law of divine oneness helps us to understand that we live in a world where everything is connected to everything else. Everything we do, say, think, and believe affects others and the world around us. Our task, should we be willing to accept it, is to fine-tune our awareness of life and to revel in what transpires as a result of that. I'd like to close with the spiritual mind treatment that we also have published in the newsletter tomorrow. I invite you to close your eyes and to listen to this in the first person. And then commit, should you be willing to do so, over the next week to read it aloud daily and maybe more often. It's this. The infinite and omnipresent power of the divine is fully activated in my being right now. I accept this power and use it wisely and deliberately. I celebrate the unity of life right here and now, and know I'm one with that which transcends any and all conditions in life. In my journey of life, I consciously choose compassion, respect, and understanding for that which appears as suffering, loss, and confusion. It's with deep conviction I use my thoughts and beliefs to effect my environment and situations in my life. I shift my consciousness and, in so doing, eliminate any and all semblance of victimhood. I know there is nothing, no thing that is happening to me. I move my thinking to reveal truth, and that is all happening through me. This is good, unfolding no matter what. So today, I celebrate the good in life that is me, and trust with the faith of God, this good continues to perpetuate in my life. God is, I am, it is done, thank you, and so it is. And as my teachers used to say, and so ends the lesson. Thank you. Jason's going to take us on a continual journey of music.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Please swallow your pride. If I have things that you need to borrow, I'm right up the road, and I'll share your load. If you just call me, you just call on me, brother. When you need a hand, we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'd understand. We all need somebody to lean on. So just call me. Call me, 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 just call me. Just call me, just call me, won't you just call me?
The divine has called you, baby. It's called. I could watch you and listen to you sing that song on a loop over and over and over and over again. Just watching you with your eyes closed, getting into it and rocking is evidence of what I just spoke about for 30 minutes. The thing itself, animating itself, surrendering itself, letting it do its thing through you. And using those lyrics of, it's there, like you call on it, it's there, right? And then as you let it show up, it does its thing, and then it shows up, and the more that it shows up, the more resonance field we feel with it, which gives us the opportunity for greater faith, right? Which then you want more of it. So a little bit like being, a source addict. So, right. A love junkie. So, well, Jason, thank you so very, very, very much for being here today. And
as always, thank you.
I just love it. And it just warms my heart to know that you're out shining your light and sharing your gift on a daily basis out in the universe. And so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So now is an opportunity in our community to support our community financially. And I want you all to know that we celebrate each and every individual that gives to the best of their ability, and know that we do trust and know that we live in an abundant universe, and that universe not only supports and guides us, but provides for us as we open up to a new idea today of expressing the good of the universe by means of each one of us. The opportunity to do that is to go to our website right now, CSL-LA.org, and click on donate. You can go to the app in the App Store, which is a great resource and tool, Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. You can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California. Or you can call my number, which is on the screen, and I can handle it for you privately. Jason's going to take us through a song while we have a moment to do that.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through you, Spirit receives through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you, Spirit gives through us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us, Spirit lives
And so it is. A big thank you to Jason for being our musical artist today. Thank you, Jason, for being here. A big thank you to Travis Smith for our audio, and to Robert Hensley, our social media and Facebook person. Thank you all for your patience during our technological challenges that we've had today. You out there are not aware of it. We were unable to connect to Facebook. Facebook throws these curveballs, and so we roll with it when that happens. And so glad to do that. Some updates on what's happening in our world. This Wednesday we have our midweek morning meditation. Love to have you join us. That takes place from 8:30 to 9 a.m. or 8:30 to 8:50 every Wednesday morning. It's on Zoom. You don't have to turn your cameras on. You can just come and be present during the meditation. We record that. That goes out the next day, or usually that day, through Constant Contact as an email. So you have access to that. You can download it on your computer or your phone. It's an MP4, I believe, so you can listen to it that way. Also want to remind you that we have a new thought for the day that goes out each day via text at 7:30 in the morning. You can sign up for all of this at our website, csl-la.org, as well as let you know that the app in the App Store is a great resource to find out what's going on in our community, as well as you can follow us on social media where there's stuff going on all the time. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, I believe it is. All that you can find on our website. Our next in-person gathering is February 12th. Let's make plans to be there and to invite friends and have a wonderful day for that. And also to let you know that as we spoke today about spiritual mind treatment, that we also have some practitioners and ministers that are trained to work with each and every one of you if you need support or guidance. And I'm doing a little research on how, when there might be a class again. So I know there's been some questions on that, so I'll keep you posted on that. That concludes our morning. Just from technological stuff, I am not going to mess with my screen to bring up music to do a meditation. So I'm going to affirm for each and every one of us we're in the perfect and right place, doing the perfect and right things for ourselves to fulfill that which is innate within us, which is to be the power and the presence of the divine. That today's the day that we choose to open up to a new idea of who we are. And let that be baby steps for us if that's what needs to happen. And we trust it every step of the way. And so it is. May you have a blessed day wherever you are. Continue to shine your light. Be gentle and kind with yourself. And use your divinity in a way that's steeped in kindness, compassion, empathy, and love. You have the opportunity, as do I, each and every day, each and every moment, to use it, the thing itself, in ways to make a difference in our life. And because we're all interconnected, it makes a difference on the planet. Namaste, and have a great day.